Shazad Sheikh, Motoring Middle East, and I am in the 2015 Ford Mustang GT. This is the one with the 5.0 V8 Coyote engine, 435 horsepower, 400 pounds-foot of torque. I've been waiting a very, very long time to drive this car. So without further ado, let's just go for a drive. This is the automatic, the 6-speed automatic, sadly not the manual. Handbrake is off. Let's put it into sports mode to start with. I've got the steering on sport, and I've got the drive mode also on sport. There's a few goat around, so let's not try and scare them. And here we go. Oh, that sounds better. This is a bit more like it, eh? Why didn't it change up? It's now gone straight into 6th gear. I'll tell you what, let's use the paddles for this, shall we? Right, I brought this to the same road where I brought the 2.3 litre EcoBoost. If you remember that video, you can find that on our webpage motoringme.com or our YouTube channel Motoring Middle East. And I brought that car here because, you know, it's supposed to be more of a sports car, and this road is quite a demanding little road for muscle cars. So having done that, I've now brought the V8 here as well. And immediately you do feel this is a bit more of a brute, bit more of a muscly thing. You have to coax this into the corner. The power is there, the torque is there. Brakes are pretty good, thank God, because there's some blind corners and blind crests on this little road here. It's a bit of a downhill section. So let's flip it down to the gears. Responds better on the paddles. I have used this gearbox in normal mode and in sports mode in this car, and to be honest, I find it hunts a little bit. It gets a little bit confused even in sports mode, and I think resorting to using the paddles in this particular car on this particular occasion is actually the best option. Okay, I'm going to take this guy, clear road, move back in again. So it has that attitude of it's a nose heavy car, big old nose at the front, and you have to just coax in the nose and just keep it in there and wait for things to straighten up before burying the throttle, if you ever bury the throttle. In fact, because you got 400 pounds-foot of torque, and that's what happens if you bury the throttle. Which is quite interesting because you had a little bit of initially the nose just running wide, and then kind of gripping and tucking in, and then the back just squiggling a little bit, not really coming round but just squiggling. But yeah, so much better to use the paddles than it is to use the regular car. Of course I would love to have tried it with a manual gearbox to see what difference that would make, but the ride on this car is fantastic. You know, it is so much smoother, more comfortable. You know, it's firm, it's set up firm, it's for a sports car, so it's set up firm, but it is just so much smoother, so much more comfortable. I drove up here on the motorway and it was just so relaxed and so refined. The refinement levels, again, so much higher than they used to be on the old Mustang. Performance, as you can see, fabulous, you know. There it comes. Also a very quiet car. I was calling Imtishan on the phone on the Bluetooth in-car stuff, which all works extremely well, and the stereo is fantastic, by the way. Lots of gadgets and gizmos on this car, including a series of track apps. I put a picture of those up earlier on our Facebook page and Instagram. Follow us on there, Motoring Middle East. And you have things like accelerometer, G-force, acceleration timer, and something called line lock. I wonder if I might give that a try later on. Don't know. So a few fun toys to play with there, track apps. So got a lot of gizmos and gadgets. It's very, very refined, very quiet. So yeah, so I was calling Imtishan earlier, and he said, how is it on the motorway? I said, well, it's so quiet that I can hear the pitter-patter of the actual sand. It's a bit sandy out today, a bit blustery. I can hear the pitter-patter of the sand on the bodywork, but not like harsh or anything, but just like you can hear it because it's so quiet and so refined. It's very, very smooth, good poise, good turn in. A little less grip at the front than you might expect from, say, a sports car, but for a muscle car it feels about right. that sound is good, slightly synthesized though, I feel, especially inside the cabin. And at motorway speed, this is the trouble, at motorway speeds and at normal speeds, you can barely hear that sound. It's very subdued, very quiet. In fact, when you're doing those sort of speeds and that sort of driving, particularly around town, you could be in an EcoBoost, quite frankly, in a 2.3 four-cylinder EcoBoost, and you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. Stuck behind this pickup truck, I'm afraid. Now that I have a clear bit, there is both an animal on the road and a van coming the other way, so safety first, chaps. Is it clear now to get past? I don't know, it's a blind corner. Yes it is, here we go. So let's see, there we go, kick down, off we go, up through the gears. But yeah, as I said, it sounds good, but slightly synthesized inside the cabin, and I would wish for more of a burble, more of a gurgle at lower revs, at idling revs, just something to remind you and tell you that you are actually in the V8, that you have paid more money. You've paid nearly 200,000 dirhams, well, 190 something thousand dirhams for this car over a 2.3 EcoBoost or a V6 version. Just to give it a bit more presence. That would be nice, that would be my choice. So probably the first thing that you would do, having spent all that money, is then take it down to the shop around the corner and get the exhaust flipped out. Of course, the problem with that is that if your exhaust is too loud, you then tend to get into trouble. My suggestion would be that I'm getting crowded by this Lexus. I think he wants to race me, but sorry chap, I'm not in the mood for racing. Anyway, we're in the town now. So I'm going to put it back into drive and just take it easy and just talk to you a little bit. So, as I was saying, my recommendation would be to see if Aldaya are also doing, or the local dealer is doing, the Roush aftermarket Mustang exhaust system, so that at least if you have that, look at that, a little bit of slidey-widey there, a very slow speed. So that's nice. Traction is on. I haven't tested traction or anything. It's just in sports mode, that's all. But it has that muscle car feel. It has that slightly woohoo and waywardness at the back, you know, if you deploy that 400 pounds for the torque. And like I said, if you can get a legally switched out exhaust from a dealer such as a Roush system with a piece of paper that says that you're allowed to have that as original equipment, because I know some of our readers have had problems here getting fined with aftermarket exhaust systems that are a bit too loud. I did hear this car recently, somebody had a Corsa, I think it's Corsa system on it. Oh, it sounded amazing, but it sounded incredibly illegal. So probably not really the best solution here, although I'd be tempted, I'll be honest with you. So very, very good car, excellent car. A few things, like with the 2.3, I've been struggling to get comfortable in this seat. I don't know why, I can't quite put my finger on it, but that's less of a concern. More of a concern with something else that I can't quite put my finger on is there's something missing from this car. I'm not quite sure yet what it is. I've got a few more days with this car and I'm going to see if I can figure it out, and if I do, then read my review on motoringme.com, and maybe there I'll be able to talk about what it is. But I get in the car, I've been desperate to drive it, I've been waiting a long time to drive it, got in the car, happy as Larry, driving along, feels good, and it's so much better than the 2.3. Feels more of a Mustang to me than the 2.3 does, that's for sure. But beyond that initial level of being impressed by the fact that everything is the interior and everything is so much better in this car than the 2014 model, and even the looks, you know, I like the looks, I don't have an issue with them. I do think that actually the previous generation car was still the better looking modern interpretation of a Mustang, but this to me is still a great looking car. But I'm not desiring it in the same way that I desired a Mustang, the previous generation Mustang, every time I drove one. All it took was to go around the block and me thinking, I wonder if I could get some finance, I wonder if I could save some money, if I could move some money around and actually go out to Aldaya and get one of those cars. Every time I drove it, I was left wanting one. And oddly, I'm not with this car. Oddly, I'm not. And to be honest with you, I'm puzzled. I'm very puzzled about that. I should want this car. On paper, everything about this car is correct and right and proper, and I should want it. But for some reason, I don't necessarily want it. Anyway, I have a few more days with the car. Let's see if my love for it grows. As it is, very good car, very impressive car. if you're going to buy one, go out and buy one straight away. If it was a little bit cheaper, the argument would be a no-brainer. I mean, I think it's gone right to the top end of Mustang prices for this new car. Hopefully, maybe once the prices settle down, once the new cars have hit the market, maybe the dealers will bring the prices down a little bit. If I were you and you really want one of these, I might wait a year and just see what the prices are. That might be a better option. But if you like Mustangs and you like this car, you should definitely buy one. It's fantastic. They've improved everything immeasurably, so absolutely go for it. Thanks very much for watching this review on motoringme.com is our website. Please check it out, and if you're on social media, please follow us, especially on Facebook. We do a lot of stuff there, on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Just search for Motoring Middle East. Same goes for YouTube. Just search for Motoring Middle East. We have a great channel of videos over there, and if you are watching us on YouTube, then please do subscribe. Thanks so much. Until the next time. So this line lock thing, I wonder what that actually does. Let's see, track apps, line lock, right, car is in gear, it says track only. Oh, okay, maybe I should maybe I should come down here and just flick that up and go into track mode. Okay, so I guess that's what you have to be in. Now that I've got that, okay, so there's a little OK button here, right, so I'll press and hold that, and initialization complete, press and hold the brake. Oh god, got to push it all the way down. Right, and press OK. Oh, that little grunt, right? Okay, right, here we go. Ah, right, it's a bit smelly. That's what it does.